Почитувани гледачи на утрински брифинг, добар ден или добро утро, зависи кога ова ќе се гледа. Топ тема во македонската јавност деновиве е пописот спроведен во 2021 година и резултатите кои завчера беа објавени од страна на Државниот завод за статистика. Се појавија многу нејасноти, многу дилеми, се возбудија многу духови, поставени се многу прашања. На дел од нив ќе се обидеме да одговориме со господинот Данило Доленц, експерт за статистика, со кого разговараме пред неговото заминување од Словенија, од каде што ни доаѓа господин Доленц. Со него разговараме на англиски, бидејќи тоа е за него најповолно. Mr. Dolenc, would you please explain to Macedonian public first what was your role into this census process in Republic of North Macedonia, and who is hiring you, and what is your particular mission?
Pozdrav. Thank you for your question. I was working 39 years for Statistical Office of Slovenia. I have a huge experience with census taking. Slovenia in 2002 conducted the similar census, combined census, as here in Macedonia, but of course at that time on paper still. And in 2011, I have been the main author of the Slovenian first register-based census. So my experience with censuses is very great, And from last year, I quit the statistical office, and now I'm working here as independent expert in the project founded by the EU Union. But I'm totally independent in my role here in Macedonia.
So, given your position in this census, it is in your part to give a particular evaluation of whether this census has been conducted according to the rules that experts rules in your field, or it is that up to some other institution, European or something?
You have to know
your own opinion.
You have to know that I'm working here with colleagues in statistical office since 2017. We started, that was a project, twinning project between Slovenia, Italy and North Macedonia, in which project we developed this method that was implemented in 2021 census in Macedonia. So there was a long time period that we prepared this solution, and actually I'm fully engaged here since February last year. So I was in some kind supervising all the main stages of the census taking, meaning the preparation of the questionnaire, preparation of the application. I was following the training of enumerator and other stuff, and after the successful field work, my main task was here to overlook the processing of the data, because this is of course a very big task. Why? Because here we didn't deal just with the data from the field, but also with the data that are available in the statistical databases, in the administrative databases that were used for data integration even before, when we started to enumerate people in the field, and also in the process of in the last stage of the processing, meaning editing of data. You know that statistical data that come to the statistical office has many errors. So this is very important part of the project, is to clean all the mistakes, errors that were made during the enumeration period.
So we know, for example, when we have elections, that we have international bodies like OSCE or European Commission who finally casts a final evaluation, like to put it, judge that the process was being conducted according to the rules of that field. So is there any similarities? Would anybody like Eurostat, for example, say that this process has been conducted professionally, clean, and it's according to the standards of the census taking in the world or in Europe? Why I'm asking this? Because after we heard the results, there's different reactions from different parties, and some of them claim we are not recognizing these results. So is any instance which will oppose those voices who are trying to undermine the results? Who will say that this census is done professionally and satisfies the standards?
I'm really very sorry that some people oppose the completely professional and in scope with all international standards conducted census in North Macedonia. There are two main documents that are important for the census taking, and the first one is UNSC recommendation for the censuses, which are in fact recommendation, and the second one is EU regulation on censuses, which is not obligatory for North Macedonia, because of course we know that North Macedonia is not the part of the EU by now, but the census in North Macedonia 2021 was conducted totally according to all international standards, and even more. The census in Macedonia was, by my opinion, the most advanced, the most modern, the most in technical and also other terms conducted census for the countries which are still collecting data in the field with direct interviewing of respondents. My opinion is that the method here, so-called combined method, and when we talk about the technical implementation of that method, I think the North Macedonia is really the top of the world at that time.
All right, I'm glad you bring that. Maybe this is not actually for you the question, but maybe your practice, you have experience. Probably European Commission in its yearly reports about the progress of Macedonia, North Macedonia, will have to dedicate some portion to the census and conducting of the census. Is that a practice in different countries for that? You're familiar with the regular
I'm expert.
I'm
expert. I'm not a politician.
Right.
I will, of course, I had to present my final report to the founder, and because this project is founded by the EU Commission, so this final report will go to the European Commission, okay. And the report will be very positive.
So I think now we have a much more clear picture about what is your role in the census of Macedonia. So now I would like you to comment on a few details of the process which bring more suspicious in some parts of Macedonian public. For example, you said the methodology of this census was quite new in terms of counting the people who are living in diaspora for a certain period of time. Is that as a sort of a precedent in census taking practices?
Absolutely, because normally every country conduct census in their own territory. Here, we have to take into account the circumstances, the situation, and I found the idea that this web application for diaspora has been implemented to collect data on that population, which of course is not a part of the usual resident population, if people of course living abroad, but taking into account the situation here, I think this was a brilliant idea, and of course everybody outside the country had the possibility to participate, because I know that many people here still feel themselves, even they are working abroad or living abroad for several years, they still consider themselves as a part of the Macedonian society. But according to the international standards,
okay,
the most important thing is that in the census we have to extract usual resident population according to the international standards and according to the methodology that is proposed in the documents that I already mentioned, and we succeed that extract the data on population with international standards. Of course, as we noticed that they enumerated that there was a difference between target population that is found in administrative sources, and I must say that Macedonia is a country with a very good sources and a lot of sources, data sources that were used for the data processing and even before for the preparation of so-called pre-census database. So when we found out at the end that there is a discrepancy between two populations, so-called target population and population that were enumerated in the field, it was normal decision that if we are doing the combined census, the imputation of missing people is the most suitable and the best solution according to the statistical standards. And of course, what is the main outcome here is that the data are reliable. Absolutely. This is the main goal of every census. Is there worse to spend so much money that you get at the end undercovered results? No, of course not.
But on the other side, in this data, there are a certain portion of the population which was not giving the questionnaires in person from different reasons. They mentioned 132,000. They were either absent from the homes when the census people come, or they were maybe boycotting the census, as some of the parties voiced against the population, the conducting of the census. So we have that big chunk of population which has not claimed itself nationality or religious affiliation or the native tongue. So it's a kind of a distortion in the overall numbers of the different divisions. So what I'm asking, is there any way for those people to be included in period of time into the overall census? As we heard that it is not possible till the next election, till the next census. Is it true?
I don't understand this question.
Well, let me see.
I will explain. The census, field census, has been finished on 30th of September 2021. So after that time, the statistical processing, editing
is over.
Has started, and it was over a few days before the final results were published. So the basic statistical rule is that statistical data that are statistically processed, never can't go outside of the statistical office. This is the main statistical rule all around the world. These are their then statistical data, and there is no possibility to do some other updates or surveys after that. That's one thing. Another thing is that 7% of population is in fact very not so maybe so huge number as it is maybe seen on the first sight, but 7%. I think that the main advantage of North Macedonia is that they had possibility to impute these records on population to the final database. Most countries in the world, they never know how many people they missed at their censuses, and even more, if they know, they never admit that. The results of the census are, from me, the relevant, the quality, reliable, and trustable, and could be used for more than just for the sharing of the some ethnic groups and so on, but more important are data on economic characteristics, educational characteristics, and other things that were asked in the census that, by my opinion, this, of course, in these places, so exposed variables, which are not, I have to mention that, are not the obligatory variable in any international document.
Okay, so I guess that's it for now. I wish you good luck on your trip, and thank you for your participation in the census and in this conversation, Mr. Dolenc.
Thank you. Pozdrav.
Pozdrav.